welcome to episode 32 of Spanish Answers. So today we are going to continue with our possessives. I know that we took a little bit of a break last week because, let's face it, who didn't need a break from the world? I hope that you really enjoyed some of those comics and that you actually got to read them and take some time and kind of disconnect from the world for a little bit. But if you didn't, I highly recommend last week's episode for a little bit of a breather. Anyways, so speaking of which, let's go ahead and get started on this week's episode, part 2 of Possessives. All right, vámonos.
So just a quick refresher from episode 30 where we first started our possessives. There are 2 different possessives we talked about, right? We talked about possessive adjectives and possessive pronouns. So possessive adjectives are mi, tú, su, nuestro, nuestra, vuestro, vuestra, right? And then if it's plural, because remember, your possessive adjectives have to match your noun's gender and number. So if it's singular or plural, so mis, tus, sus, nuestros, nuestras, vuestros, vuestras. So interesting fact about possessive adjectives, if you have a list of multiple nouns, so 2 or more, you'll need to put a possessive adjective in front of both of them. For example, he has my dog and cat. Él tiene mi perro y mi gato. Él tiene mi perro y mi gato. Now, what we've just talked about is known also as the short form or the unstressed form of possessive adjectives. So you might ask, what is the long form or what is the stressed form of possessive adjectives? Well, it's actually using our possessive pronouns. So they're used as adjectives. Weird, right? So you don't really have a definite article. You don't really use that. And you only use this stressed form when you want to put emphasis on the owner of the noun, right? So, for example, is he your friend? Es amigo tuyo? Is he your friend? Es amigo tuyo? He has my dog. He has my dog. Él tiene el perro mío. Él tiene el perro mío. Alright, so just a quick refresh on what those possessive pronouns are. They are mío or mía, tuyo, tuya, suyo, suya, nuestro, nuestra, vuestro, vuestra. And then for plural, because these also change based on number and gender, míos, mías, tuyos, tuyas, suyos, suyas, nuestros, nuestras, vuestros, vuestras. All right, moving on, let's talk about the possessive pronouns as they actually function, not just as a weird stressed version of the possessive adjectives. So possessive pronouns, you're going to want to use them with a definite article, right? So el, la, los, las. For example, my dog is black, yours is brown. Mi perro es negro, el suyo es gris. Because remember, possessive pronouns replace the noun in the sentence. Mi perro es negro, el suyo es gris. My dog is black, yours is brown. His cloak is blue, mine is red. Su capa es azul, la mía es roja. Su capa es azul, la mía es roja. I like my cats, but he prefers his. Me gustan mis gatos, pero él prefiere los suyos. Me gustan mis gatos, pero él prefiere los suyos. Now, there are exceptions to this rule with the definite article, and that's when the possessive pronoun comes after the verb ser, which, if you recall, is to be, or one of the 2 forms of to be, right? Anyways, that's for a different episode. The black dog is mine. El perro negro es mío. No article there, no el, right? El perro negro es mío. The green cloak is yours. La capa verde es tuya. Or, if you're talking to someone more formally, suya. La capa verde es tuya. La capa verde es suya. Now, if you want to add emphasis, then you can add the article back in after the verb ser. So, the black dog is mine. El perro negro es el mío. El perro negro es el mío. The green cloak is yours. La capa verde es la tuya. La capa verde es la suya. And then some interesting things to remember is dealing with contractions. So if you've got a or de plus l, right, you're going to contract those two together into al or del. For example, he looked at his son and I looked at mine. Miro a su hijo y yo miré al mío. Miro a su hijo y yo miré al mío. He looked at his son and I looked at mine. You, plural, thought of your brother and we worried about ours. Vosotros pensasteis de vuestro hermano y nosotros nos preocupamos del nuestro. Vosotros pensasteis de vuestro hermano, you, plural, thought of your brother, y nosotros nos preocupamos del nuestro, and we worried about ours. As you can see there, al and del, they contract. And then finally, last but certainly not least, using the neuter possessive lo, or I guess the neutral possessive. Lo is used for abstract ideas, things that aren't really quite defined concepts. And if you really want to dive a little bit more into that, I do have links in the show notes to all the resources I used for this episode, and there are a few that talk about lo. So, for example, you can draw your stuff. Stuff isn't really defined. You can draw, whatever it is that belongs to you. You can draw your stuff. Tú puedes dibujar lo tuyo. Tú puedes dibujar lo tuyo. We do not want his share. His share, it's, his something, his portion of something. We don't want it. No queremos lo suyo. No queremos lo suyo. She always forgets her stuff. Ella siempre olvide lo suyo. Ella siempre olvide lo suyo. She always forgets her stuff. All right, so that is all for this episode. If you have questions or topics that you'd like me to discuss, please send them to me at contact@languageanswers.com. That's contact@languageanswers.com. I will be going on maternity leave here in, 3 weeks maybe or so. After that time, if you do have questions, still please send them to me, but just be aware that it may take me longer to reply than normal. And then if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe either via YouTube, SoundCloud, Transistor, Google Play, iTunes, all of those. And this episode was produced by Language Answers Limited at www.languageanswers.com.
Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. As you've noticed, I'm sure I still am not back up in my office, but I was able to actually wade through things today and get my cup. I have missed my mugs. But yeah, the baby room is still kind of a disaster area, so we're still working our way through that. Anyways, speaking of baby, if you didn't know or if you've forgotten, I am 37 weeks pregnant, so this episode is unfortunately my last one for who knows how long. Really depends on the baby and what the baby decides. But I didn't want to kind of just all of a sudden disappear. I mean, babies are unpredictable about when they're coming. Little M is definitely not an exception to that rule. So instead of just playing it by ear, I decided that the first week in April, or near enough, would be the last episode. So this will be the last episode for Spanish Answers, and the next week will be the last episode of Respuestas Inglesas for an indeterminate amount of time. The goal is, of course, to come back and start up again, but one just never knows with a baby what's going to happen. So again, my plan is to start up again in maybe 3-4 months. So if you would like to know when that happens, please subscribe. That will alert you as to when a new video / podcast is posted. But you guys have been wonderful. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to listen or watch these. So sending questions and participating in the survey and all of that. So thank you very much. And I really appreciate it. God bless and stay safe and healthy. And I will hopefully see you in several months. All right. Hasta luego.